Hey guys, it's postboxpat and welcome back to a new video, and today we're going to be talking about more new locations coming into Fortnite, most likely this Tuesday with the next update. So let's talk about these locations. And in yesterday's video I did mention about the huge new town coming in, and I've actually kind of seen that and I noticed it, and what happened was, well, I made that video and then like a few hours later they actually tweeted out a video saying about even more new locations. So I thought, you know what, we'll do it again today because we've got more new locations that have been announced and it's going to be absolutely awesome. So what has been announced and what are we getting in Fortnite this time, as well as the big new town? So if you don't know already, there's going to be a bunch of new locations being added in hopefully this Tuesday, from 3 locations on top of the surface so far that we know of, and also hopefully some mines in the future, which I don't think will be this Tuesday, but I definitely think further on down the line we may see some underground style play within Fortnite, which will be like mine shafts and stuff like that, which is going to be pretty cool. And maybe you could even collect more metal inside of these mines, a bit like Minecraft, but maybe something like that could potentially be added into the game. So let's take a little look at the gameplay of the new areas and talk a little bit about that. So here you are, you've got a bunch of new gameplay coming up here right now. You've got the new like kind of structure to some of the cities. You've got the motel, it's just absolutely crazy. You've got the boneyard, which is going to be really awesome, which is like a really like tamed up version of a scrapyard. You've got new terrain with new trees on the mountains. Here's an inside view of one of the new buildings, which is pretty cool, inside the big town, which is really awesome. And then we've got another view of one of the streets inside the big town. So this town looks like it's going to be awesome with the clock tower and stuff. And then here you've got like inside of more of like a warehouse type thing, and then another view of boneyard from above. So we've got all these new locations being added in now so far. So from what I know, these are the locations of the new spots. Credit to Ali again for getting the screenshot up and locating the new spots. So let's talk about this briefly quickly. In the top left hand corner around B1, that is going to be boneyard, I believe. Then around C2, around there, that is going to be the motel, and the big circle there in the middle where around C4 is going to be the new town. Now, from what I've gathered by looking at the gameplay and stuff, I think Motel is going to have a bunch of chests. I personally think Scrapyard, or Boneyard should I call it, is going to be quite a tamed down location and may not even be listed on the map. It may just be there, and personally I don't think much is going to be in there at all. I feel like there's going to be only a few, maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 chests there. Bit like motel looks like it's going to be like a prison structure. Boneyard doesn't look that good at all really for loot. It might have a few chests. The new terrain could potentially add new chests around the map on top of hills and stuff like that. And also with the new brand new town being added in, I assume there may be at least 8 chests or more inside of this new town. So I personally think that they're adding a bunch of locations to stop people from going to the same area when it's like released. So they've got 3 locations to choose from rather than going all straight to the main town. Personally, I think everyone's going to go to the main town though, because everyone wants to check that out first, because that's where all the chests are probably going to be. Motel's probably going to only have about 5 chests max, and then I can imagine Boneyard will only have 3 or so. It's not going to be many at all. They're also removing all the Christmas trees, which is a big shame really, because the Christmas tree loot really did increase the population of some of the areas and will really change the style of play a lot. For example, when you go in Wailing Woods, you had that tree inside Wailing Woods which potentially could spawn 3 chests. That's going to change the meta completely and will completely change the style of play. Also with the bushes changing back from the flashing lights and stuff, they'll be a lot harder to spot now, so you won't know where every single bush is off by heart as easily. And then you've got the same sort of concept a few times as well, which we could see in the future. And I definitely think the idea of these chests being added in with like the loot and stuff, with like the Christmas trees and that, was a clever concept. And we could see that with like Easter update or something like that, or over summer maybe they have like certain like surfboards or something. I don't know, they'll do something like that basically, where they'll add more chests in. But with the new areas, that kind of covers for the missing chests, but it means chests are now more spread out. You'll probably see less people having potions and stuff depending on what locations you were dropping. Personally, I was dropping locations where the chests always were, so like Moisty Mire and places like that, because there was no Christmas trees there. The Christmas trees were kind of always in the same spot, and they were in spots which were good, like Fatal Field, Anarchy Acres, Pleasant Park, places like that, which were very useful. And but there were also spots which weren't too useful. But the Wailing Woods one was personally my favourite, because you could always go behind Wailing Woods and cut back through. So I think removing these from the game will change the style of gameplay slightly. But with the new areas, you're going to see, at least I reckon you'll see about 60% of players on that west side of the map, on the left hand side of the map when you split it down the middle, and most of the other percentage of players probably be on the right hand side. Personally, I'm probably still going to be diving to the right hand side when I'm trying to win games. But if I'm not trying to win games and get gameplay and stuff, which I'll probably be doing at the start, and I think think a lot of people will be doing this. I think everyone's going to be going to the main town, maybe at least 20 people, and then the other 2 locations you may even see a maximum of like 10 people plus maybe at these locations if you're going to them as well when the update first drops. So we're going to have to see exactly how it's going to work. I think they're going to change the style of play completely. We're going to see a lot of play because they're built very close to Pleasant Part. I can see Pleasant Part either being looted first and then being pushed out of, or people looting these side locations and pushing into Pleasant. Now the thing with pushing into Pleasant Part, most of it has probably already been looted, and you're kind of only pushing in for kills. You're not going to get much loot unless you get a kill on someone and rob their weapon, and the chances of them actually having a good weapon to start with, which may be a Scar or a rocket launcher, is probably only like 20% chance or 10%. So you're going to be pushing into an area where you don't really want to be pushing into. So this is the thing that I want to consider about this and kind of talk a little bit more about. These new areas are really centered around Pleasant Park, and I think Pleasant Park is put in a position now where you can either push out of to these locations if you don't think they've been looted, which will be the case in the future. During the first few weeks of this, maybe the first week, most people will go to these new locations to test them out. But as they start to die out and people stop going to them, then we'll probably see people go into Pleasant Park more and pushing out of Pleasant Park to the new locations. So people are definitely going to be doing that. A lot of people are also going to be coming from like the new town and maybe going to Greasy Grove or Pleasant. I definitely think the new town's going to be a big impact on the game, and I feel like there's going to be a lot and lots of people going there just to try and get as much loot as possible. But with the game being consistently updated, we can see a lot of new content coming in. Maybe within the map being quite crowded at the moment, we can only see like stuff like underground and stuff, but I think stuff that's going to be underground will be really awesome. Stuff in the sky would be really cool as well. For example, floating islands, nothing too major, just little ones there and then, maybe like about, I don't know, maybe the size of like the trailer park floating in the sky, like a floating island somewhere. That'd be really cool. But again, that's changing the style of the game completely and making it very unrealistic. Even though the game is pretty unrealistic as it is, having a floating island may make it completely like next level, but I could see it being a pretty cool area. You could also have it so you could fall off the map there as well if you jump wrong or someone shoots you down as you're building up to the island. Maybe there could be a triple or maybe even a five chests spawn up there, which I definitely think would change the game completely. These new areas being added, and we can predict names for them. Now with the new town being more of like a skyscraper type of modern type town, I can't really give it a name exactly, but it's more of a rental town where you'd rent apartments. So it might be something like, it would be like Anarchy Apartments. So it won't be that, but it'd be like something like that. So it may be like, let me have a think what it could be. Amazing Apartments. No, it's a bit cringy. What else could there be? One of the locations I actually named was Booming Banks. I thought that was a really awesome location. I think it just came to my head once. Booming Banks, it's like an area where there's like a rob bank and stuff, and you have like explosions have gone off and things like that. I think that was a really cool idea called Booming Banks. It's something that I actually come up with, and it would sound like a sort of place you'd get in Fortnite, but these apartment ones, I don't know what you're going to get 100% for the name, but it is cool to see what we could predict. If you guys have got any predictions, leave them in the comment section below. For the other locations like Boneyard would be pretty cool, but it'll probably be something like to do with Scrapyard or something, so it might be Scrap, I don't know. It's so hard to come up with these names. I think they obviously, if you sit down and write a bunch of names down, you'll eventually come up with one, especially in a big team. But to come up with the names from scratch now, live on a camera, or live on video, should I say, recording live on my recording device, Elgato, I use, is just hard to come up with them right now. Here's some campfire gameplay actually on screen right now if you want to check that out. That's really awesome. So, you know what? I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of this gameplay because you guys can predict down below in the comment section below. If you want to enjoy the rest of the gameplay, feel free to watch. There is actually some awesome kills coming up in this gameplay. It's a really awesome gameplay. Me and my little brother, postboxpat, have done a really good job on this one. So don't forget, if you have enjoyed this gameplay, leave a comment down below. And also, tell me what you think of the actual idea of my ideas for the location names, or any ideas you guys think the locations could potentially be called. Leave it down below because it is interesting and I am interested in finding out what you guys think. So hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and once again, this is postboxpat signing out.